And just like that, race day is upon us. Assuming a successful completion of the Haworth Hobble on Saturday, this training block will have contained 1,161 kilometres, and I will have done 21 lower body strength training sessions over the last 16 weeks. The training block has also contained a 10k PB, a trip to Helsinki, and my third fastest 5k time ever, and my fastest since 2019. I've approached this training block quite differently to how I've approached previous training blocks for longer efforts. The focus this time around has pretty much entirely been on volume. I'm not necessarily the most talented runner out there, and I'm one of those people that is just going to benefit from running more above anything else. So that's all I've really focused on this time around. I've not tried to do threshold work, I've not tried to do any fancy workouts, because they're just not going to help me that much as just running more will help me. I have also intentionally undertrained previous training blocks. I definitely overdid it. I was overcooked when I reached the start line. And I've also just not really placed the same expectations on myself. I'm one of those people who doesn't function very well when I've placed heavy expectations on myself. Some people thrive in that kind of environment. They need that kind of expectation and that pressure. I crumble. My best performances are always when I'm pretty relaxed on race day. I'm not really anticipating anything, and I'm not really expecting anything of myself. And with these longer efforts, it kind of has to be that way. If you're out for multiple hours on rough terrain in potentially bad weather or erratic weather, there's so much you can't plan for. There's so much that you can't expect. So going into my first goal race of the year, this has been the key mindset shift that I think is going to enable me to run more successfully than I have any time I've previously attempted longer stuff. I can only plan for what I can plan for. I've had to learn to soften so that when the unexpected occurs, I can bend with it and adjust. This is the first time I will be lining up for a goal race, and genuinely feel like I'm ready. It's frustrating that it's taken me this long to work out how I needed to approach this kind of race, and I think there was a big breakthrough back in October when I ran the Round Rotherham 50 miler with my friend Harriet. That was, I think, a really key turning point in the sense that because the focus really was on her, and trying to see if we could get her a 50 mile PB, I wasn't thinking about myself at all. I wasn't thinking about my own goals necessarily. I was very much focused on someone else. And the race went so smoothly, really. Like, I had a bit of an injury niggle crop up partway through, but we managed it. We just problem solved on the move. And there were a couple of other like little bits and pieces that meant that it didn't go as perfectly as you might want a long race to go, but because again I wasn't overthinking my own race, I was able to soften and bend and adapt on the move without panicking or just feeling like the race was over because something relatively minor had gone wrong. And that was a key learning experience. It made me really understand that I just have to approach these things differently. In previous years, trying to go after the decent times at the Saddleworth 10 res race, I've overcooked my training because I was too focused on trying to hit certain metrics and reach certain statistics, and the training block had to go perfectly and be really, really good, and I had to be the fittest I've ever been in my life, like statistically. And I was so overly focused on that aspect of it that I perhaps forgot a little bit where I was going. And I will go back for a good time at Saddleworth 10 res, maybe not for another couple of years, to be honest. And yeah, there is some frustration there that I didn't learn all these lessons sooner, because I feel like I'm only really just hitting my stride now, and I'm fully expecting a lot of my PBs to start dropping pretty consistently over the coming couple of years. Because I've had that training consistency and I've learned all those lessons, there's still a lot more to learn and there's still a lot more progress to make, but just having a couple of years of consistent training in my legs whilst making a lot of mistakes and figuring out how I'm supposed to approach these things in a way that works for me has just led to me now being in a position where I'm actually really excited about the next few months. And running the Haworth Hobble is really just the start of that. It is my first goal race of the year, but ultimately I am also looking ahead to other things that I want to do and to the following years and things that I want to achieve over the next 2, 5, 10 years. But all those things will be revealed in time. So yes, I'm ready. I definitely feel ready to run 50k on Saturday, and I'm excited to see how it unfolds. I'm not anticipating a particular time. I've got a rough range that would be nice, but ultimately if something goes wrong, obviously I'll just work with it on the day. So I'm ready to run it. I'm ready to adapt. I'm ready to learn more. So I suppose all that remains is to say, see you on the start line.